Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Com Ulrich. Of course, I am here with,
Rangru, hello, hello, hello.
and that means it's Steel Division Normandy 44 time. Today we have ourselves a 1v1 on Odon. Now, who is playing today?
Well, on the left-hand side, in blue, we have Olizar as the first Polish armored division. We haven't seen him. I think we haven't really seen him at all, you and me. And
Yeah.
and on the right-hand side in red, we have Gilmund as the 17th SS Panzer Grenadier division.
Now, you were super excited. We were looking at games to cast, and you're like, oh, let's do the Polish one. I think I've never seen you actually be so excited before. Why are you so excited for this particular matchup?
It's just a completely different matchup. The Poles are a very fun tank deck because they're a nice mix between the Guards Armoured and the French tank deck because they're pretty aggressive in A phase. They've got some really fun units to use, but they don't completely fall off into C phase. They still have a bit of bite to get them through. You get some very fun units. You get 10-man flamethrower squads, which is wonderful. And just, they're cool. They're very cool. And the Polish division, the actual real history was pretty badass, I have to say.
Yeah, weren't they surrounded by some hills, something like 251 or something like
Yeah,
that?
Hill 212 or
That's something
207.
like that, but
Yeah.
just surrounded but never outfought.
It was during the Flay's Gap that I would not. If you ever played COD 3, the second to final mission, yeah, that's what the Poles did.
True, very darn true indeed. Okay, but on this particular map here, and we'll get back to the decks in just a sec. 'Cause I know you and I have been taking a look at the decks before we really got started here. What should we expect in this particular map? I mean, we obviously have a nice transverse line going from northwest to southeast,
Yep.
but is that really going to play that much of an importance?
Well, we got town in the middle, which of course will be a very heavily contested area, and it's a very important part because if you can push through the town to the other side, it's open ground. And really, on the northern and southern sections of the map, you kind of got all these line of sight blockers, but once you get past it, once again, it's all open ground. So really, this map is kind of structured as a giant wall going through the middle, and you have to try and break through it.
You know, we talked every now and again about maps favoring one side or the other. Which do you think is favored here?
Oh, that's a good question. 17th.SS can definitely storm that town. I believe they get stormtroopers, of course, so CQC capability to help out. But on the flanks, if if you use their vehicles correctly, the Poles can have a pretty damn good time. But in more CQC areas with good support gun setup, 17th.SS can really set up a good defensive position because they have a lot of very good defensive units such as long range RT, Pak 43s, etc.
No, and that's something that we really need to make sure we pay attention to. Now, I will say, we were looking at the decks beforehand, like I said, we saw definitely some early Nebelwerfers as a possibility for Gilmund. But I do want to note, early on, I might say, would you say maybe that the advantage is probably going to be over on the poles, especially on the transverse? A
Yeah,
couple of Stewarts, we have the Cromwell, and what do we have matching? Looks like just a Shug, yeah?
yeah, it's this one. Stugger is the F8 one, where it does have the 2-star veterancy, but it's very easily killed. Uh, yeah, the Poles definitely do have the A phase advantage. They got the points. They can get a stupid amount of tanks. If they can knock out Stug, you don't have to worry about other tanks. It's just AT guns from here on. And
Now,
if
we were...
they can break through,
Mhm,
break through that wall, as I was mentioning, even north and south, it's going to be a
mhm.
damn good time.
Well, and that's a question I was going to ask you next, too. I mean, the infantry, you said the Pole infantry is very, very good, but Germans have maybe a CQC advantage? Would I
Yeah,
understand you, or no?
they have stormtroopers, which
Hmm.
are ridiculously good CQC guys. I believe 18 HE at close range. While Pole's infantry is still very standard British. What makes him good is they get half tracks, and
Hmm.
you can get some cool flamethrower guys and some Piat guys later on, but it's still pretty standard. And also, Gilman does have access to Panzer Grenadiers because he is a mechanized division, but his PT Grens don't have rocket launchers. But they're still very good because the Panzer Grenadiers, it's 2 MG42s, are still pretty scary.
Definitely sounds like it. Now, one quick thing, and this maybe you can help me out. So we are going to see a couple of machine guns over here on the pole side of things. What kind of machine guns are those? Are those Vickers
Yeah,
coming on in, or no?
it was a Vickers MGs, which yeah, they're alright. They're not really great, especially
Hmm.
with I know I had a few instances where I just pretty much bum rushed the Vickers with like an Ersatz troop and an Ost troop and okay, a Grenadier squad I should really say, and the Vickers couldn't suppress it in time before I got into SMG range. So they're not bad. It's just
They're not wonderful.
they're not great either. But that's really the same with a lot of British units. They're
Hmm.
pretty bad at suppression damage themselves. They
It
really
does
rely
look
on
like
support.
the Poles are going to give up the early town advantage, though. The Germans are
Oh
pouring
yeah.
into it as we speak, but it looks like they're going to really push on the northern side.
Mhm.
Now, we are seeing a couple of AT guns deploy. I'm not sure this Pack 38 is going to be enough, though, now, do I?
If we can get one good shot and knock out the Stuart, he should have a good advantage. But if the Stuart can return fire, it's going to be a bit close, I'd have to say.
Yeah, actually, right now already,
Yeah.
you see the Cromwell tank coming in online as well. I'm not enjoying this already. But Stoßtruppen are moving on forwards. And these guys do have the PPSs they've stolen from the Russian theater of war, which is always kind of fun to see.
Mhm.
And pinned down already, but at least one
Oh.
Stuart has died. So I'm feeling a little bit better about my brethren.
But we still have another Stuart and a Cromwell, which is going to be, well, okay, it's the standard tank Cromwell, and he's just breaking through here the half tracks. The infantry can't exactly do too much, they're not in rocket launcher range, and they can't exactly fight him in open ground, so this is a real good breakthrough here from the Poles.
But this orchard, okay, I'm trying to think about the line of sight in the orchard, and it should have been. I almost kind of frustrated to
It's
think that the Stoßtruppen have not been close enough to really put fire on that road.
Yeah, they can't really even go through the orchard safely because if you look, it's roughly 150 meters, where they can actually do a rocket launch hit from 150, but with the SMGs, they're going to have to get within 100.
Now, this is a very, very bizarre opening kind of map position here. It is 51-49 in favor of Olizar.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I've ever seen this initial happening before. If the Poles find themselves cut off, that might be a devastating loss for them.
Exactly, but they do have a pretty good hold up north. I do like the infantry positions, setting them up in good locations, and they do have Piat, which help out quite a bit.
Ooh,
But
that
oh,
Pack 38 has come and gone, my friends. He was there for about a second and a half.
it's also rather lucky because Olizar pretty much attacked the Rika's flank. The Stug F8 is in the middle, and it's not exactly doing much at the moment. If that Stug was up north, it probably would have turned the tides quite a bit.
We actually are going to see another Cromwell coming on, and this one just the infantry tank itself. And it looks like Gilmund is just struggling to bring in more and more AT weapons just to kind of deal with this breakthrough.
Yeah, and that's a lot of ground here from Olizar. I think that SS Stormtrooper can maybe get a good shot in that half track, but
I think I'd be more concerned about throwing rounds into that Cromwell too. So
exactly.
I think he's wasting his opportunity here. But nope, here comes aligning. There's the half track, and now that Cromwell and the Stuart are going to blow him to pieces, though.
Oh, he manages to duck back and cover just in time. Very good micro, yeah, from Gilmund.
Looking about the other parts of the map, we are going to see the town, like I said before, is squarely in control of the German hordes. And indeed, I think we're even going to see more Stoßtruppen coming up to the northern side, maybe in an attempt to get some more Fausts on the way. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably Faust because the Panzergrenadiers don't have rocket launchers themselves, and I doubt that he has Panzerschreck. So really, his best ambush option. But SS Stormtrooper up north getting a little bit too cocky and pain in the eye in price.
Now, one thing I think I would have enjoyed seeing was using maybe the Nebelhandgranate as a smoke grenades. That would been kind of nice to see for me. I'm not sure why we didn't quite see a little bit more intentional
Maybe
ability usage.
it probably would have gave Ray's position is what I'm thinking before, he actually moved up, but it definitely does raise a good point. I know it's tough, he has an AT gun here and it's about to get a shot on his Cromwell, but he doesn't have that much in terms of anti-tank apart from that Stug. And that Stug right now, well, he's actually cutting off the supply line, which I have to really give props to. So I think, okay, so Gilmund, he's just gonna let that attack in north, do its thing, while he just pushes through the middle to try to stop any more, reinforcements coming in.
Now, help me out. How many AT guns come on out here? Because we've already seen 3 of them go down. I kind of feel like Gilman is throwing every last scrap that he has, and he's just going to lose all of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got another AT gun. It's another Pack 38, which aren't exactly going to do too great. I believe he can get a single Pack 40 in A phase, but he may not have it in his deck. And a Pack 40 would be a wonderful choice for dealing with these tanks. But I think really just attacking through his middle is really going to help out here, because that Stug F8 is completely unopposed.
That's true, and that's even the gun run by the Hurricane. Doesn't even rock him at all, my friend. So
Nope.
there's no Scorpions fans out there today. And actually, this continues to look like an Escher painting, but the Germans have managed somehow to take 47 to 53 map advantage. This makes almost no sense to me. And the Stug is actually taking the flank. No, okay, he's turned down to the southwest. All right, never mind.
I'm looking at it from the Axis perspective in terms of map control, and it kind of looks like a rabbit.
Really? Oh yeah, I suppose that's kind of true. Let's think about this for a second. Yeah, it's a kind of an adorable rabbit, but we're nowhere near Easter now, are we?
Nah, it's a little bit far away, but yeah, Cromwell's getting some good hits on the Stug. Probably not going to kill it, but
yeah, but if you can freak it out, that's more than enough for the time being, I would
exactly.
say.
And really, outstug his main priority, so keeping it offline for as long as he can is good. And damn, that IG-18 is really leading an assault here by himself.
Very gutsy. Now, I'm not entirely sure. Do you see this really being a great option? Is there really anything he's doing, or is he just sacrificing things to take territory for now?
I think he's just sacrificing it to take territory.
Whoa!
Oh, whoa! Did he blow it up with the Cromwell?
That's not supposed to happen.
I think, he blew it up the Cromwell, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. That infantry Cromwell somehow took him on out, which is gonna make me cry.
Wow, that's a
not supposed to
shite
happen.
shot. Huh.
That's not supposed to happen.
Well, it did happen, Khan. It did happen.
Yeah.
But this attack at north is really forwarded now, and Olizar is now repositioning his other Cromwell to this middle hand section after pulling out the north. But damn, those Dragoons are still holding on strong, getting some good hits on the Pak-38.
I'm just gonna make a comment about that myself. I was like, oh, come on, you just thrown all this anti-tank away. His IG-18, by the way, goes on down from the courtesy of that Cromwell down to the southwest. But, oh, man.
It's still pretty even, in terms of score, and actually Gilmund is in the lead. So I'm thinking, is Olizar going to try to do something else up north? Maybe try to plug in the middle and capture that town? I mean, still has a lot of options and a lot of tanks on the field.
I think what I would have liked to have seen is using the tanks to cut off that northern kind of, let's say, the three-axe formation that you see there. Kind of just cut off that particular set of group. Moved them from Streltsy on one side. I think that would have been a great idea, but we're not seeing a whole lot of artillery or anything like that from the Poles, are we?
No, they can get like one sextant in A phase, but and I believe some mortar carriers, but yeah, pretty rubbish the British ones. But yeah, he's just going for the direct tank attack. Yeah, the problem is he can't exactly fight in these forests around. As you see, he's pretty much completely avoided all the infantry areas because of all the bloody SS stormtroopers planted around everywhere.
True. And there goes another Pak-38, by the way.
Damn. I mean, he must have like two cards of Pak-38, and they're not exactly doing.
Yeah, not going well here.
Now
who's that in the middle part of the town? It's the singular. That's not the Pak-38. Never mind.
Yeah, just
my enthusiasm has waned.
Yeah, I think he just got 2 cards of Pak-38 and A phase, and probably. Well, once he gets into B, he does get more options such as Pak-40s. I believe some sort of Marder 3s, some more Stugs. Because he needs your anti-tanks options, he really does.
He does have an IG-18 up on the northern road for some god-awful reason, and he's trying to put fire into that Staghound. I don't think it's going to go particularly well, but if it does, I think I'll probably cheer.
Yeah, I mean, the Stags returned a bit of fire, but not enough to really get a kill.
And we're actually seeing exactly what you were talking about. Staatstruppen blowing apart some Streltsy, forcing a surrender, and they're going to go down themselves, but that's still... I would calmly say maybe a slight victory for the Germans yet.
Yeah, that's still holding on strong. Having that town is an important stronghold in this map. It just gives you lovely line of sight and great attacking options if you want to attack further into enemy territory. Now pushing down south, getting some ground, is definitely helping out. But the one problem is they don't really have much fire support, so they can't exactly having trouble with just one Jeep with an MG.
True. And actually, there's another Vickers just below that as well with I'm not even going to try to say that, but whatever the scouts are, armed with those Sten guns.
Jesus, that's... Yeah, I'm not going to
try
to say
that. Surprisingly enough, we're going to see continually another weird kind of thing. So the IG-18 took out a half-track by himself and forced back that Staghound. In fact, the Staghound continues to retreat. And I'm wondering, are we going to see this entire penetration cleaned up?
Yeah, the Dragonis are now pinned down, but we've got the tanks being brought in to reinforce.
And we're now into Phase B, by the way. I'm surprised we didn't see the Nebelwerfer already coming out from Gilmund, but Olizar really hasn't had a lot of infantry on the map, has he?
No, he's mainly just using vehicles. He's using some of those cheap strokies, which are pretty much just rifles. He is bringing up a heavy bomber Hurricane, which is going for the IG-18.
No, I
Yes?
think he's going for those
No.
garrisons.
Oh, good hits. No kills, but did force the pin down, so keep his Dragoonies alive for a little bit.
True. True. Now we also are going to see a Stroke 4 coming on in, and this guy is quite good, actually.
Yeah, it's a wonderful tank. Considering the 17th.SS is not like a full-on tank division, the Stug 4 is just a phenomenal mid-range tank. It's got the same armor as a Tiger, and it's got a pretty good gun to boot. It doesn't have the range the Tiger or Jagdpanzer, but it's power. It can deflect some of those Cromwell shots, which is more than enough.
And actually, I was going to make that comment, too. We are going to see the pulls are completely wrapped up here. We're seeing it's 41 to 59%. Pulls, actually, this is really kind of weird. I'm surprised the pulls don't have any sort of daisy chaining kind of infantry squads or something going back here.
Yeah, I think the main problem is they managed to do this attack in his northern side, but that forest connecting, the enemy side to his side is still full of infantry. Not much now, but still enough to make it so he doesn't have the map under his control. And he really sort of maybe thought about trying to clear it out fully, even just sending some crappy rifles in to clear it out instead of fully committing, because as you see, he is completely surrounded.
Well, one thing I think there was probably a missed opportunity here is the Germans did not call in any sort of air power on that big concentration that just pounded one of his P-Ground squads into paste.
Or artillery, like a naval rifle would have been wonderful.
Either.
Yeah, he's bringing up a Panzer IV, so he's going heavy on the tank to try to stop his assault now. And yeah, he pretty much even in terms of tank game.
Well, another Cromwell's being called on in, and the Germans continue their march down to the southern side, and they're getting pinned down here and there, but it doesn't look like there's anything that are really going to be able to push them on back. It's kind of shocking me a little bit. And light buoy flamethrower, I've never heard of that before, but it sounds awesome. But alright, in the meantime, this IG-18 is going to find himself coming under firepower from this Vickers. And like you said, he's just calmly putting rounds down range. There we go, 2 pins.
The Cromwell up north got panzerfausted by an SS troop.
Ah, and I believe that SS troop then paid for it with his life, didn't he?
Yeah, but still managed to get a kill. That's 20 points to 120, so always
that's
a
true.
Good trade. And that's what I mean. If he would have been able to secure that forest, his supply lines would be much more stable. Now the Stug 4's rushing in. Oh, jeez, don't.
But the P4 did get taken out by the Dragonis, so.
Yeah, and are the Dragonis going to kill the Stug?
Jeez.
Those Dragonis have been there pretty much since the start of the match. It's amazing how first they're still alive, and second they managed to kill 2 bloody tanks with a
freaking Piat.
With a Piat.
This is not exactly like a massive gun rush. This is just, okay, oh, we have the little rinky-dink shape charge. Let's fire it out with the spring.
They're not even that great. They got a single Bren gun and 6 Leinfields. And now the SS troopers are going to be clearing them out. But that was a pretty awesome defense here from the Poles.
Now, we are going to see an Achilles coming on the main line over here against the Germans. I have to say I'm a little bit worried about the German position.
Yeah, losing both of those tanks is definitely a fatal blow. And we still have a pretty good defense on the northern side. I mean, the Staghound and Stuart are ready to be brought up. And with an Achilles on the field, yeah, that's really going to even things out. Yeah, there's not really any heavy tanks to really worry about at the moment. Okay, there's a Stug being brought up. And another Stug down south. He just brought 2 Stugs.
Again, I'm wondering why he's not using some more air power. I think, while of course... Oh, yeah, another freaking anti-tank gun goes down. But while, of course, we are seeing, like you said, a lot of vehicle play from the Poles, I feel like even being able to frustrate them, to stress them out, to force them back from morale would even be a worthwhile goal.
Exactly.
But none of that's happening. Instead, like you said, we're seeing a couple of Strugs, and the Strugs are good, except against an Achilles. There is really nothing that's safe anymore.
No, especially in this more open ground area where the Achilles can have long-range advantage. I mean, it's still like 1 shot, 1 kill from either side, but the Achilles just has range. Seems like the Stug is going to be going down south to try and clear things up, knock out the Cromwell, which is definitely going to be good fire support. And in that southern area, there's not really too much range you have to worry about. But
Well, I was just trying to figure out whether or not he could actually even see these recon guys that have been there since the word go. Even taking them out would be a bit of a victory by itself, I would say.
yeah, let's see what they can see, the recon guys, because they have, they can see the stag being brought up right now, and that's really it. And then if that
They see
crosses
both
the open
strokes, in
field.
fact. Oy vey.
Oh
Oh,
no!
oh
No,
my gosh! Don't tell me this is gonna happen.
No! No!
I was
Okay,
gonna say, son of a pup, but no.
is he?
Now he's standing still. That's a bad thing.
Oh!
Grenade out. Damn it all. Just damn it all.
How can? Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that's really bad. Fool me 3 times, Jesus, that road is just dead pansies.
Yes. Yes, it's nothing but... And you know what? They didn't even get a chance to salvage the fuel. That fuel's important, man.
Wrong game, buddy, wrong game. But, like, the leader squad on a single Dragoon, 40 points. He managed to kill almost 500 points worth of units. And this is such an... This is literally one dude now defending this northern flank. One guy. Oh,
And look at this mass moving in now, too. So both Achilles, the Stewart, the Staghound, and that little command group are going to just kind of all stack up. And this is going to be a blown flank. I can just feel it.
yeah, this is not going to go swimmingly at all. And now we've got a pack gun here. Could potentially kill at least one of these tanks, but...
Oh, don't worry. There'll be a way that these tanks will just kind of take one shot and blow the thing to pieces. Yeah, look. See, one shot takes him down to half health. 2 shots, he'll be dead. Just wait.
Oh, bad.
How do you bounce the damn round? Twice.
Okay, we got a pack 40. Okay, a pack 40 being brought up north, which is definitely going to bring in that extra firepower. Yo.
Okay, I'd like to point out real quick that pack 38 had an entire... Like, okay, look at the way he was looking at that road for a second. He could not miss. He could have fired blindly down that road and hit something.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's very chock-a-block full of tanks. Now we got another Stuart, and we just got the pain train coming in from the pose, the armored cavalry, which is pretty fitting for a division icon.
True. Yeah,
oh, there we
Staghound
go,
went
pack
down.
40.
Finally, send a real gun to do an anti-tank's job.
Yeah, I mean, he needed a real gun to begin with, to be honest.
Now he's gonna get engaged pretty quickly here, and there's a lot of HE on that couple of Achilles there.
Yeah.
And I think, in fact, he's probably gonna get suppressed before he gets too much else off.
Yeah, he's pretty much buggered. He really sort of kept it maybe in the forest behind instead of moving it in the open ground. Wait for him to get... Oh, Stormtrooper gets a good hit.
I was going to say, yeah, he just took out that command carrier, so dropping the veterancy, which is a little bit good. But now he's completely pinned, which means he's going to be dead in about 2 seconds. Oy vey. And by the way, I'd like to point out that Zotzi or Zvaidautsy, whatever you call it, the scouts over here down the southern side, they are still alive.
Wow, that's this is why you turn off your weapons on your scouts, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. The intelligence from that is just overwhelming. Stroke, in the meantime, is going to encourage, let's say, the Sherman 3 to back away. But, Sherman 5 down below. Okay, so there's going to be way too many tanks here. Are there anything that really the Germans can do to get this back up and running for them?
Well, bombers, like you said, planes. They got another pack gun, but I think they need a little bit more. Oh, they got a kill on the Achilles, yeah. That's a good kill.
Yep.
And he just needs...
He can get that other Achilles, then this entire northern flank changes yet again.
Yeah, all the Achilles forced to retreat because of the neighbor of a rocket flame. And yeah, all he needed...
Recon Stewart going down too, wow.
Yeah. And all he needed was just, some proper anti-tank guns.
Or how about anti-tank guns that won't just bounce constantly?
Exactly.
That just made me angry. So Stewart will get one more round off, but I think he's going to find himself stressed out pretty quickly.
You see his Achilles retreating up north.
There we go. Oh my god, there's a Stormtrooper right there.
I know. The Stormtrooper barely have line of sight. If he was just to move it up a little bit in the forest. And
yeah, he's doing it. But there's a Streltsy right there.
Oh, yeah, Streltsy.
There he goes. Never mind. The lone hero goes down.
Got Bomber, Hurricane here, and... Oh! Focke-Wulf and Hurricane.
Yeah, but I don't think... Oh, wait, never mind. He's catching up quite a bit, isn't he?
Yeah, the
But Mustangs and Hurricanes, the Fuckwolf's dead.
yeah, it's 2-on-1. Did manage to kill the Hurricane Bomber, which is good, but I know the Mustang and Hurricanes aren't exactly the best fighters. They're actually pretty even in terms of turn speed, but it is a 2-on-1 engagement, and they do have veterancy. So never mind. Those Poes are probably going to win the aerial engagement.
I was going to say, honestly, if the Fuckwolf had pulled out, he would have been safe, but
yeah.
Nope. He overstayed his welcome, and he's going to pay for it here. Poor guy. Meanwhile, Stug is going to present a lovely side-on shot here to this Sherman, and the Sherman's not going to miss that. Whoa!
Whoa!
Never mind. It's about time it comes back the other direction. Thank you! Thank you! That's how it should happen, man. Those Shermans, those are death traps for a reason.
I'm... Okay, sure.
Okay, alright, that's fair. I mean, it's not completely 100%, but you know what? Just let me have this for a second, okay?
Okay, I'll let you have your little victory. The thing is, though, the Germans are still winning by plus run. They have, even though they're doing pretty abysmal up top, they are starting to take it back.
Well, that's good news as well.
The
Achilles and this Wolverine are probably going to take out the Stug.
Yeah, and that's a 2-on-1, baby. And
there you
there
go.
Goes the Stug. But down south, well, he has got ground, so he doesn't have much to really hold it. It's just a few stormtroopers here and there, and now have a Sherman and some rifles being brought up.
And just another Stug instead. Jeez, I'm surprised this Nebelwerfer has not yet been bombed.
Yeah, he's kind of slap bang in the open now. Oh, and actually, no, he's right behind.
So he's on holy ground right there, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at its line of sight, you can barely see it. It's pretty much in the courtyard. I love how you can sneak units in such, like, close positions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because most other games, you know, you wouldn't be able to go into, like, the parks and whatnot, or the gardens. You'd only have to stick on the roads.
Exactly. I mean, people definitely malign this game a little bit too much, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they are working to change it a little bit, too. So I'm proud to see that. It is 5446, like you said, 1300 to 143. And is that another Pack 40 down below? Pack 43? The Maltia?
Pack 43, my friend. It's the big boomer.
Indeed. But, you know what? Not a whole lot of reason for calling that big boomer unless he's going to the center part of town. And he's not. He's going to a very, very strange spot.
Yeah, that's... you want to take advantage in the penetration of the Pack 43, so... really, up north would be a really good location. Somewhere in the forest to try to cut off reinforcements into the northern salient. But, I think you need to get... is he bringing the Stug down south? I hope he is, because... yeah, definitely help clear it out. Probably a few Panda Grenadiers, because the Strochki and Saparis are starting to move up.
Looks like he's moving that Stug up the main line, going on just outside the town. And... some more infantry coming on out from the Poles, not too much, and it looks like there's a serious realignment of armor from the Poles as well. Kind of a very curious one for me, but nevertheless.
I mean, well, it has one Achilles alive, because you can only get 2 Achilles in the Polar Stacks, and Fireflies now in the Wolverine, so definitely heavy in terms of the armor capability, but... I know, maybe some artillery from the Poes to help counter-battery the Nebelwerfer. I mean, this really needs to attack because he is doing pretty poorly in terms of points. He needs a +2 now to really take the victory, so maybe a heavy assault down south, try to penetrate all the way through, will be his best bet, and he has the tanks to do it.
And that's exactly what I was just going to make the comment about as well. I mean, we are seeing this serious alignment here, this motor pool starting to get built on up. I'm wondering, are we going to see him move just east along that road? That might be enough to just kind of crack the southern side.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much here right now. We've got the Pack 43, but he's not in the best position, as Reese said. And if he can crack the cell, move down south, he's going to have a damn good time.
Yeah, and in fact, he is going to do that. In fact, he's going to up next to this orchard. Right by the recon that he somehow magically still can't see. And a Martyr 3 is coming out as well.
Okay, attack marker on the Pack 43, so... is that going to get bombed? Yep. Oh, Mustang.
Those are 20 mil cannons too, so that's not going to do very kind things to yielding flesh there.
Yeah, the Hurricane has 20 mils, yeah, and the Mustang has 50 cows, but still a lot of damage.
They came in like a hurricane. Sorry. Anyway, getting back to the actual game. Yep, we are going to see a very big push down here on the southern, not along that line that we thought originally, perhaps, but along that southern arterial.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only going to get worse for the Germans. This martyr is shifting to compensate, but
yeah,
still not going to be pretty.
No, not going to be pretty indeed. The mortar may be able to get one kill, but I wouldn't doubt more on that. Yo, northern flank is going pretty good for the Germans. They're moving through from the stormtroopers. Getting a little bit of ground with the neighbor warfare. That's definitely going to help out. And
I am happy that you noticed that, because as soon as you made that comment, I heard machine gun fire from the north, and I was like, oh, we got to check that out real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nebelwerfer barrage came on in, pushed back these Sapensi. They could really do something good here.
I'm not liking these Pack 14 placements. Definitely a bit too close to one another. I'd definitely try to move one to the southern sector to try to clear open ground and just leave one up on the far north. But, well, he can do what he wants with his Pack 14s. I'm not playing.
Like I always say, I'm not going to say I'm better than them, because Lord knows I'm probably not. But from the armchair position.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you also got to realize, like, as we're casting, we can see everything going on. We have the benefit of hindsight, where, you know, when you're playing in a match, you make mistakes. I do, you do, everyone does, because you're playing from your position.
Very, very true, and always a good thing to remember. Mm-hmm. Now, we are going to see... Yep, well, there's an ammo explosion there, so Staatstruppen doing their level damned best to hold steady, and that's going to be the end of that one.
And Gilmund has been doing a very good job with Stormtroopers the entirety of the match, because I find when using, like, Stormtroopers, they're really good as minefields, surprisingly enough. You place them in a forest, you leave them there, and if the enemy pushes through, they can get a good kill or two, either with their SMGs or their rocket launchers.
I'd like to point out real quick that Mortar 3 has fired 3 shots and gotten 3 kills.
Wow, that is... Damn, he killed the Sherman, the Cromwell, and
he has a Jeep too, so not a big deal there. But
yeah, that's a hat trick, and I'm surprised it managed to survive.
Well, he's fallen back now, so the question is whether he can get out of range before that Firefly sees him. And it looks like he can pretty easily.
Yeah, he's going to be hiding behind the forest. But that was good position. He didn't attack with the mortar. He just left it, yeah. And once, you know, it came around the corner, he managed to get first shot off.
Let note, by the way, there's a 17-pounder up north. He's going to completely blow apart this Stug. Just wait. Yeah. And that's a 3-star Stug as well, so you don't want to be sacrificing that.
No, not at all. And he's already lost a lot of Stug 4s in this match already.
Mm-hmm. But Olizar looks like he's going to go take 5149 back for himself. That's still not particularly impressive, all things considered, but we are noticing there's like no infantry left in the south.
No, it's very much cleaned up. We got more stormtroopers being brought in. They can probably get a good rocket launcher here on the Fireflies. No, they're going to come around the corner before they can get into the tree line. The mortar 3 moving up too. So,
well, again, if you can get that first shot off, well, Wolverine's going to get the first shot, so he's pretty much boned.
And with machine gun fire, it's definitely going to help stun it up.
Yep, falling back. Not going to be pretty. But you know what? That will give the Staatstruppen time to set up in the forest here.
Mm-hmm.
We could see something very, very interesting happen.
Too bad there's no recon or really, like, forward infantry to help clear this southern forest. He has infantry just north of the tanks, clearing that out, making sure it's all nice and safe, but nothing down south. And when you're doing a tank push, you always want to have infantry in front, clearing the ray.
Track's broken, that mortar's dead. Poor guy.
He's rickety wrecked.
He was a hero, though. Good God. Yeah, he was a monster.
Great position, you know, and that's not even a veteran mortar. This is a regular Joe, getting 3 kills.
I'd like to point out, by the way, Nebelwerfer desperately tries to put fire down to cover the retreat, but even with broken tracks, but not going to happen here.
That mortar should not be alive still.
There we go.
There we go.
Caster's curse. I do find myself kind of wishing that the stormtroopers continue to move around the southern flank. You want to check the line of sight there. He knows where the tanks are, and frankly, he could scoot out across these tree lines, come in and around. Yes, there'd be some machine gun fire to brave, but other than that, I kind of feel like it'd be a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing on, like, the southern left-hand side to stop in terms of machine guns, so once he just gets past that little clearing, moves up north into the orchard, pop an Achilles or Wolverine. That'd be some good kills.
Mosquito, by the way, bombing the entire northern flank, pounding the German attack to force them all under cover. But there are still Stormtroopers in the area, and those PPSs are doing crazy amounts of work.
Yep, yeah. I mean, the Stormtroopers have 18 HE at close range. That is
Incredible.
It's a stupid amount. Those PPSHs, I believe, do... Yeah, they do 4 HE compared to the MP40's 3 HE. So... Yeah, do more damage than most damage than SMG is what I'm trying to say.
By the way, Stug is kind of coming in behind the pole position, no pun intended. I'm really kind of confused by this because you would expect to see either more of a military presence here, or I'm not even sure how to call it, but another Stug coming in from the opposite side of things, so it's going to be a hell of a gunfight in a minute.
I mean, he can move that Stug around to flank and try to get, get the side shot. There's nothing right here to stop, and that Firefly on the left-hand side...
Bailed out.
Oh.
And that Achilles was the big dangerous one, too.
Yep.
And if this gets wrapped up, it ain't going to be pretty.
Pack 43 managed to get a good side shot, yeah.
You're absolutely right, and he's going to get one more round off at least at one of the 2 Wolverines. There's another one.
Oh god, he just fell right into that trap.
Kind of brilliant when you think about it. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that Pack 43 is in pretty fortunate position.
And we were maligning that before, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Mosquito Run comes on in, but even though he stings the troops there, it doesn't take him on out. That's still very much an Axis position.
And this is not looking good for the pose now. They pretty much lost their entire tank force. I mean, this Firefly is retreating back, but if he retreats back a little bit more, he's going to get into range of that Stug. And
well, I was going to just make a comment about that as well. It's actually very fortunate that Stug has moved as he's moved towards the west. The Stug has kept going south. What did I miss?
No, he's just taking his time to turn around that Stug. So.
True, but the Firefly is still falling back, so he's got a little bit more time yet to
he's
execute that man. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
I really did like this bit of time, but wow, another one goes down.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
Actually, looking at how the beginning went with all those AT guns getting blown to pieces, I really expected to have a much more negative impression of the 17th SS.
Yeah, same. They managed to hold on to their ground rather well. I think it's... Well, they held on to north pretty effectively, thanks to the Stormtroopers being pretty scary in the forest. And down south, too, real good positions with the Stormtroopers and Stugs getting some... And Mortar getting very good ambush positions. And this is, I'd say, why the 17th SS are pretty much going to win this match. They got very good ambush shots on the majority of these Polish units.
Kind of amusing to me is that Nebelwerfer came in at the absolute perfect time. We're going to see a Junker up to the north and a Junker down to the south as well. I think this will be pretty much the end of any kind of vehicle play across the entire map. Yep. The Poles have been completely decapped here.
Yeah. Because in that northern assault, when they're like fighting over that little town right to the forest, they really needed to think about capturing the forest first and clearing that out, because that really cut off the arteries, and they couldn't keep as much of a presence in that town because of it.
True. And actually, one thing that's a little surprising to me is that we do have some Poles that are behind enemy lines, these Sapertsi as well as these Streltsy, haven't done a whole lot, and they really could be.
I mean, you could get the kill on the IG-18 now with the Sapertsis, and got another Sapertsis in the other forest about to get stormed by SS Stormtroopers.
And there we go. Okay, the life buoy is taking some lives away from the Stormtrooper, but we're also seeing some pioneers coming on up, and those guys get that hand grenade out. Ain't nobody gonna be happy. Total victory, though. I'm guessing we're going to see ourselves with a very dominant Axis presence. What's coming in? Another martyr. Okay.
And also, holding on to that town. I mean, it's only now at the town they're actually getting attacked, but that's a lot of easy points right there, just from holding that area, and very easily defensible. And that neighbor Earth, which has pretty much been there the entirety well, half of the match just been having an absolute fun time just shooting everywhere. Because in that center point, he pretty much has map domination of that single naval.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think about how this would have been a little bit different if that tank assault had gone along two lines as opposed to this one line down to the south.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, you would have dispersed the gunfighting a little bit more, but what do you think? Do you think that would have been a little more devastating had he gone where this Dragoni under fire right now would have been?
Uh, yeah, maybe. I mean, he really send if you're gonna send him where the Dragoonies are right now and to the right, he really would need guys to try and take the town as well, because you never know, there could be an SS troop in there. But I think losing that northern side really hurt him a lot, because that was really his best chance to really make a breakthrough. And he managed to make a very good breakthrough early on, but then he couldn't keep it running because his supply lines were pretty much cut off. And yeah, he just...
I'm stunned by this. I really am surprised. Actually, we're not even seeing.
Considering that he lost 3 tanks in the most dumbest bloody way possible, and now he's coming back with a giant tank force, it's really quite surprising. I mean, those Stug 4s are really, really good tanks. Solid tanks.
And I know you know exactly what you're talking about with this, but I do have to make the comment real quick. Technically, they're assault guns, but, you know, whatever. Another Sherman comes in and just as quickly gets blown to pieces, bailing out right now. And there's front of the Air Force that we didn't see the entire time. Going after those guys in the sky, but I feel like this Focke-Wulf's going to go away trailing smoke pretty quickly.
Yep.
And this Junker is trying hard to see this other Sherman. Maybe take him out before he gets pinged. And it should pretty easily happen. Yep, there goes the other Sherman, and that's all you're really going to see here. Geez, the Polish Air Force is massive.
Yeah, they can get a lot of planes. And I mean, there are Hurricanes and Mustangs, which aren't the most technically advanced, but they got veterancy, which helps out quite a bit. And they're cheap as chips. Those Hurricanes are only 110 points. For just like a fighter, you know, it doesn't do anything really fancy. That's pretty good.
Definitely seems very, very powerful. That's going to be pretty much it, though. We're going to see, in fact, a total victory for the Axis, I believe. Yep, in 35 seconds. He's a +3 right now, so yeah, good God. So, immediate thoughts as this game kind of wraps up.
Yeah, 17th.SS has managed to set up a very good defensive location throughout the entirety of the match, and really, once they grinded down the pose a bit and got into that C-phase mojo, they just pushed right on through with a stupid amount of Stug 4s.
One thing I am surprised to see is that all of these rather calm, I say Soviet, Polish troops behind the front lines. We have this big little group of force from over here, and these guys just haven't really done a whole lot. I kind of wonder what would happen if they curved in around on that town.
Yeah, they may really get a little bit, but I don't think it would have done that much in the grand schemes of things. They don't really have rocket launch to deal with any of those tanks.
That's fair. So with an end score of 25-02 to 270, we are going to see a winner by way of knockout for Gilmund over Olizar.
Yep. Kills is pretty close, only a 500 difference, which isn't too bad.
True.
But
true.
the points speaks everything.
Very, very true. And honestly, looking initially, look at the history, a lot of that is actually surprisingly back and forth. I did not expect that.
Yeah, I mean, he did lose the Jeep and a few half-tracks, and yeah, the Cromwell. Yeah, it's pretty back and forth, really. I mean, we got that one pack 40 knocking out 3 tanks on a row, which is Mr. Grosshand's pretty damn good kills. And both sides, in terms of kills and losses, have some rather big lists.
True. That pack 40 Grosshand's, like you said already, was at 1, 2, 3, 3, as well as a 17 pound. I didn't realize he took that out as well. And then, good God, Blitz. Look at that dude. 2 Fireflies, a Sherman, 3 half-tracks, a universal carrier, and some infantry.
Yeah, he really blitzed array into the enemy flank.
Boo.
Boo, yeah. And yeah, the Stugs just did a real good job. He's seen a lot of SS Stormtrooper kills, and they're killing both infantry and tanks, and just really good use of the Stormtroopers, because he used them, like I said, like mines and ambushed, and got some very good kills.
True. True. Honestly, and I feel like the biggest dropped ball here was that Olizar didn't decide to go for a bigger infantry push to support his tanks. I mean, he
Yeah,
kind of threw bits and pieces of attacks, but didn't really get a big oomph at the end of it all, you know?
if he had more infantry screening in front, he could have spotted those SS troopers beforehand and then just, unload on them with tank fire. But because he didn't have that and really just kind of attacked with tanks leading the way without anything really supporting, once he kind of broke through, he got surrounded and then shot from the side.
Nothing really there to consolidate the position, right?
Yeah, exactly. No consolidation. They push through and then nothing to really, hold.
But yes, so that is a win for the 17th SS, and I feel like we haven't actually seen that many German total victories here recently. I don't know about if your memory serves you differently.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of Scots victories the past,
We have been getting
couple of
drunk
weeks.
quite a bit, haven't we?
Yeah. But I think pretty much wraps everything up for today, unless you have anything to say.
That's definitely fair. So I guess this terrible twosome. We'll see you guys all soon. This has been Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Take it easy.
Take it easy, folks.